Hey guys, mowers and blowers here again. So, you guys remember this Murray mower that I got last summer? Started up, and I put it in the shed because it was getting cold and nobody was going to buy a lawnmower, when winter is rolling around. So I just put it in the shed for a while, and then recently I just cleaned out the shed because I just needed to get rid of some crap, and decided that let me just pull this and see if it starts up, see how good I was. Anyway, it wouldn't start, so I brought it into the garage here, and man, I tell you, I did all kinds of stuff to it trying to figure out why it wouldn't start, and there was really no reason why it didn't start, so it really drove me nuts. So I decided I'm going to take the head off. I just took the 4 bolts off. It was really easy to take off, and honestly I was kind of surprised at how loose the bolts were. But anyway, so I took the head off, and I'm going to put a light there. You guys see that? It's pretty scored, man. And I mean, it looks scored, and it is scored, but it's not terrible because it's just a slight groove, it's not really bad. However, when I did that, it smells like gas. So I think the oil is mixed in with the gas, which thins out the oil. And if you have very thin oil or gas mixture, you're gonna have some compression problems, So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna take some fine sandpaper and just kind of smooth that out a little bit, not too much. Maybe put some oil over here and then smooth it out just a little bit, and then drain whatever's in there, whether it's oil or gas oil, whatever it is. I'm gonna drain all that out and put some new 10W30 in there, which is it's going to be way thicker than what it is there. So I think the thicker oil and smoothing that out and tightening the bolts here on the, because it was not loose, but it wasn't really that tight, for a head, to be on the engine block like that. It should be tighter for the best compression, and then hopefully this will eventually start up. If not, obviously because of this, I'll have to scrap the engine, and part it out, flywheel, cup, magneto, carburetor, gas tank, recoil starter, head, pistons, well, pistons probably gone, valves, muffler guard, air filter cover, primer bulb. All that stuff is worth money, and while I got this for $10, it's a good deck, you know what I'm saying? It's like almost new. I'm gonna run into an engine sometime, this summer with a bad deck, and I'll just swap it, no big deal. But so that's my thing here. I'm gonna try to get this started. If it starts, I'll try to sell this whole thing, right? If it doesn't start, I'll part out the engine and keep the deck for the summer. But still cold, and we'll see what happens. So I sprayed some WD-40 in there. Got some 400 grit sandpaper, and I kind of cleaned it out. I took the gasket off carefully so I didn't damage it. And I'm gonna move the piston to top dead center. There's a lot of carbon buildup there, and what happens is the carbon buildup kind of chips off during the run, gets stuck in between there, goes up and down, and carbon scratches up the cylinder wall. So I'm gonna try to scrape off some of that carbon. So it's at top dead center now. Basically you get one of these. And basically you slowly get to it, it'll come off. Isn't that a lot better, man? So I'm going to put the head back on and drain the oil, put new oil in it. See if we can fire it up. So I got the head back on. Of course, can't put the push rods in there until you take off this valve cover, because you'll never line it up right. Just got the push rods in there, and then I rotated the blade and saw them moving up and down, so I knew I got them in the right holes. So I'm going to put the valve cover back on again and drain the oil. I noticed that the top rocker arm was a little loose, so I had to get some feelers and just gap it right. So now it's good, I think. Pushes pretty well. Of course, there's no oil drain plug on the bottom, so you gotta tilt this thing on its side just to get the oil out. Yeah, so this oil is like gray, not black, not clear, but gray, and it smells of gas. So this oil is definitely not helping the compression whatsoever. So that's quite a lot. I had to stop because I didn't have any more room, you know. So I'll have to find a place to put that and do it again. So I just filled up some oil. It's not all the way full, but it's at the add mark. So don't want to waste any more oil if this thing doesn't work, you know. Just need enough to get it to splash. So I'm gonna give it a try. I just did it a bunch of times, didn't work. Oh boy. Looks like I might have to part it out. Another failure on mowers and blowers.